What's up, YouTube? This is Shawboys2324, aka Henry Scarver Jr., with another wrestling DVD review. This is a wrestling DVD review on Shawn Michaels, the Shawn Michaels story, Heartbreak and Triumph. Let's take a look back. See Shawn Michaels story, Heartbreak and Triumph. See Shawn Michaels right there. It says he's the Heartbreak Kid, the showstopper. For more than 2 decades, Shawn Michaels has had amazing matches inside the ring and controversial moments outside the ring. Now, for the first time on DVD, fans can see the whole story from the Rockers through G Generation X and the Click and the Montreal Screwjob along the way. This 3-disc DVD set collects some of Shawn's greatest matches, including more than 10 never before available on DVD. Alright, take a look on the inside. Alright, see Shawn Michaels. And Michaels holding championship. See his nicknames: Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, the Showstopper, the Headliner, the Main Event, the Icon, and Mr. WrestleMania. Open it up. See this 1, this 2, this 3. Doesn't come with paper, but I got information that I need. So let's get into it. Alright, and disc 1 starts off with growing up. When he was growing up, he used to play football, and basically, growing up, his parents, he thought that they thought that they was gonna get a girl, but they got a boy instead. And also that he grew up playing every sport. He was very into sports. Also, Shawn Michaels talks about how he got into wrestling when he was 12 years old, watching Ric Flair. And also, next is learning the ropes. Basically, when he was in college, I believe that he didn't want to be in college anymore. So what he did was he told his dad that he wants to learn wrestling. And that's about really it. Midnight Rockers talks about how him and Marty Jannetty got along. They got along very, very nice. Next thing is Big Break and Downfall. Basically, what happened was they initially had went to WWE, but due to the locker room, people didn't like them lock them in the locker room. They thought there was big partiers and stuff. I mean, which they are, but at the same time, first impressions is not always the best way to judge people. And then they went back to AWA. Then they went back. They had their second chance. Then Shawn Michaels was tag team at the time with Marty Jannetty. Basically, he wanted to start out as a singles star. So he basically did the heel turn and became the Heartbreak Kid. Next, he talks about Diesel, how he wanted. At first his manager was Sensational Sherry, but he wanted a bodyguard, so that's where Diesel, aka Kevin Nash, comes in. Suspension. He was suspended for failing a drug test, and he took he was Intercontinental Champion at the time, and he took the belt home with him, and he told Vince that he was going to keep the belt and he wasn't going to give it back, which leads to the ladder match with Razor Ramon. Basically, it's saying who is the real Intercontinental Champion. That happened at WrestleMania 10. And by the way, it was actually a good match, I'm not gonna lie. The Click talks about him, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, 1-2-3 Kid, aka Sean Waltman or X-Pac, and Triple H were the Click. And basically they stick together, and their friends persevere. Whatever ideas they had, they would run through and stuff like that. Friends fight for the child. It talks about how when Diesel was champion, he won the Royal Rumble in 1995, and he faced Diesel at WrestleMania 11. But he eventually didn't get the title then, but he got at the next he got in the next pay-per-view. I mean the next WrestleMania. Knocked out. Basically I believe he had some like head or like knee injury or something like that. And like he got knocked. He was going for an entrance and he got knocked out during the match. And then he came back at WrestleMania. I meant not in WrestleMania. Royal Rumble 1996. Won the Royal Rumble. And then he faces Boyhood Dream, which is he beating Bret Hart for the WWE Championship. And you see right there, pin him 1, 2, 3 in an Iron Man match. It went to overtime. Current call talks about how he was. Current call talks about how Scott Hall and Kevin Nash jumped ship WCW. Basically, Shawn was the champion and Triple H. Sean Waltman also went as well. So Triple H was the only person that was being punished. Champion struggle. Basically, it talks about how like he wasn't really doing that well as like a champion. Like, he was very frustrated kind of person, and what happened is that like he didn't like Vince McMahon told him that he was like I want you to enjoy it, but he eventually didn't get to enjoy it. He became very, very frustrated, and also he had to basically carry the company and stuff like and other things like that. Hometown Hero basically talks about when he came back at Royal Rumble 1997, had beaten Psycho Sid for the title, and as he became the hometown boy, he won the title at his hometown in San Antonio. The quote saying, "I lost my smile." I believe he had like a knee injury or something like that. And his mom told him that it's like he never smiled like he used to. So basically, he used that as like a way to drop the title. But he didn't really lose his smile. He basically had an injury. Hell in a Cell basically talks about him and Undertaker. Like the pressure was off of him because the title was on the line. So basically, him and Undertaker had to make that match. Like. Literally, like they both made that match Mystique, and still one of the best Hell in a Cell matches, still to this day. Degeneration X talks about, again, I really talked about the Degeneration X, so I don't really have to get into it that much. Montreal, basically, this doesn't really give it in depth, but Montreal basically talks about Montreal Screwjob, how Bret didn't want to get the belt, didn't want to do the job with Shawn. He wanted to drop the title the night after, but Shawn and Vince didn't like that idea, so Vince screwed him over. Shawn was in it, so yeah, but that's all watered down. So yeah, Rock Bottom. And basically talks about how. Basically he fell rock bottom after like the back injury. Like he basically like fell like rock bottom in like his life and stuff. After when he lost WrestleMania 14, he basically went home and like had to find himself again. That's where like faith come in. He found God. I believe that's what he's like saying. He loves God as much as he wrestles. I think that's one of the ministers has said. Return. He basically one of the only people that he would return to was against Triple H. He told Triple H that he was the only person that would work with him, and like he was in great shape. He returned at SummerSlam 2002. That was actually a good match. Fan versus Idol. I believe that it talks about him against Ric Flair. Brother talks about him and Hulk Hogan, how Hulk Hogan was supposed to work with him, and he wasn't on television as much. So basically what happened was that like they had the match. They were supposed to have 3 matches, but then they had that one match at SummerSlam. And basically, like, Terry does business, stuff like that. But the thing was that Terry didn't really do business, and yeah. No holds barred against the Boss. Talks about him facing Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 22. That's actually a good match. Can't complain about that. He made Vince. He made Vince. I mean, that's crazy. Degeneration X again returned in 2006 to fight off the McMahons and also run wild on WWE until Triple H got hurt, and then rest is history. Still the main event. Basically, this is what happened. I believe I already said this, but it was originally supposed to be Triple H versus John Cena at WrestleMania 23, but that didn't happen. Triple H got hurt, so it was John Cena versus Shawn Michaels, and basically saying, like, was he still a main draw? And eventually he drew 70-something thousand people in the Ford Center in Detroit. The best ever. Basically, it's a question that, is he still the best ever? Is he still the best wrestler in the world? I believe that Shawn Michaels is the best wrestler in the WWE. Can't complain right there. He'll go up against anybody. He most like let's talk about the extras, promos. Raw, April 4th, 1994. Basically, I had this segment called Jesus Christ, Heartbreak Hotel. Basically, it's like a hotel bedroom. Him, Diesel. All right. Tell Me a Lie music video. Don't really have to get into that. Raw, August 1st, 2005. Larry King spoof. This is actually hilarious. I recommend you watching that skit that Shawn Michaels did. That's pretty hilarious. Deleted scenes, including Wrestling Academy. He basically had Wrestling Academy. Dan Bryan was in that Wrestling Academy. Yes, Shawn Michaels did taught Dan Bryan, as he had mentioned on Raw. So Tom's Bible teacher became Bible teacher. That's self-explanatory. Colorado expedition. Talks about when he went to Colorado and stuff like that. Who's the greatest wrestler? The wrestler is in quotes where Shawn Michaels basically talks about Kurt Angle. He had to change the way he wrestles because he had to change the way he was wrestling because the fact that like Kurt Angle was a technical wrestler and Shawn Michaels was catch-can wrestler. He basically had to turn himself into a technical wrestler. So yeah. Stories, high school prankster, that's self-explanatory. High school talent show. Basically what he did is, since he was so much into wrestling, he was wrestling one of his friends for the talent show. Leather jacket, he talks about when he was playing football. Interesting fact is that he skipped JV and went to varsity, and since only varsity gets the leather jackets, he basically used that to cut in line and basically do whatever he want. Mom's approval basically talks about the way his attire was, it was this okay with his mom. This was when he was in the beginning, but now since he's on his own, he doesn't have to get mom's approval anymore. The bruise, basically Mario Janae talks about using a towel and like usually like scraping on like the eyebrow and stuff like that. Like using that's like the bruise, I'm guessing. The Rockers fight, like Mario Janae and Shawn Michaels were really like, they legit argued. But I don't know if that's like led to their breakup. I'm not really sure. This is a little higher than I thought. Basically talks about the WrestleMania 22 match with Vince McMahon. Originally he was either gonna do a elbow on an 8-foot, on a 14-foot, but he did an elbow on a 16-foot, and he said that this is a little higher than I thought because they didn't put the 14-foot ladder on under the ring. They put 16-foot ladder under there. Brown pants. Chris Jericho and Triple H talked about how in Survivor Series 2002, Shawn Michaels even said it that his pants were undone. So if you've seen his brown pants, and it's hilarious. This too, WCCW, January 11, 1985. Shawn Michaels versus Billy Jack Hayes. I believe that was his debut. That he did a moonsault. He did successfully, and then he got held in a full Nelson and lost, and that screwed him up. AWA, February 10th, 1987. The Rockers versus Buddy Rhodes and Duck Summers for the AWA Tag Team Championship. This was a good match. I believe that the Rockers finally captured the AWA Tag Team Championships after chasing them for so long. The next match, AWA, June 12th, 1987, Rockers versus Super Ninja and Ninja Go for the AWA Tag Team Championships. This was also a good match. It was a good match. MSG, or Madison Square Garden, January 23rd, 1989, Rockers versus Brainbusters. I believe he talks about, like, they had wanted us. Basically, every team went after them, and Brainbusters taught them a lesson. I believe the Brainbusters won this match, but I am not sure about that. October 1990, Rockers versus Heart Foundation for the WWE Tag Team Championships, 2 out of 3 falls. This was a good match. The only bad thing about it is that there was no commentary. That's the only bad thing. And also, another bad thing was the Rockers won this match, but since the top rope broke, they basically ruled them out, and the Hart Foundation got the titles back. Royal Rumble, January 1991, Rockers versus Orient Express. This was also a good match as well. Recommend you watch it. Saturday night's main event, November 8th, 1992, Shawn Michaels versus British Bulldog for the Intercontinental Championship. Shawn Michaels, British Bulldog, any matches with them is a must watch. Can't complain. The spot here was British Bulldog got hit with the turnbuckle. All right, he was about to do a superplex. Shawn Michaels went flat. He went flat on his back, 1, 2, 3, and British Bulldog had back problems later on in his career. Royal Rumble on January 22nd, 1995. Shawn Michaels enters at number 1 and wins the Rumble. This was actually the shortest Rumble match. Rumbles don't really take an hour, but Shawn was basically he had no chance, and look at what happened. He won the whole Royal Rumble. This 3 in your house. July 23rd, 1995. Shawn Michaels versus Jeff Jarrett for the Intercontinental Championship. One of the funniest spots was when Jeff Jarrett had Irish whipped him. He pulled the leg. Road Dog pulled the leg, or the roadie pulled his leg. Thought it was Shawn Michaels. It was Jeff Jarrett. Boom, got sweet chin music. That's all I gotta say about that match. King of the Ring. June 23rd, 1996, Shawn Michaels versus British Bulldog for the WWE Championship. I believe this ended in a pin, but Owen Hart wasn't on commentary. He attacked Shawn. Then Vader, because it was going to be Vader versus Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam. And then the Ultimate Warrior came back. And, yeah, saved the day. Raw, December 29th. 2003, Shawn Michaels versus Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship. Shawn Michaels won this match cleanly, but Eric Bischoff gave his title back to Triple H because they both Triple H's shoulders were down, and also Shawn Michaels' shoulders were down as well. So I don't know why that happened. They could just. Shawn Michaels just got the belt. I don't know why. And also, Stone Cold came back, but they didn't put that moment on the DVD. He came back. He made a match. Shawn Michaels versus Triple H in the Last Man Standing match at Royal Rumble 2004. Raw, March 14th, 2005, The Rockers vs. La Resistance. Can't nothing really to say about this match, except the Rockers returned for nostalgia purposes, I guess, and Marginetti returning to the ring after I don't know how many years, but I mean it's crazy. Next match, Vengeance. Vengeance, June 26, 2005. Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle in a WrestleMania 21 rematch. Basically, the only way that Shawn Michaels was going to get a rematch is if Kurt Angle was drafted to Raw. Kurt Angle was drafted to Raw. He got his rematch. Shawn Michaels won that rematch. Again, the 21 was good. And basically, Jim Ross and J Law said that, can you top that? That's how good the match was. Like, Vengeance match was good, but I mean it's not better than their first one. By far. Raw, April 23rd, 2007. Shawn Michaels versus John Cena, WrestleMania. Their WrestleMania rematch, not title match. This match was so long, but it was so good at the same time. I mean, usually long matches are boring, but this match was good. I mean, I can't complain. Like, one of the best matches on this DVD. I can't complain to you about that. So, and Shawn Michaels wins, but it was a non-title match. So, yeah. Since this actually lasted almost an hour, the next match they didn't get on the show. I believe it was on a SmackDown. So, yeah. That's it for the DVD. Overall, I would recommend this DVD just for the documentary alone, not for the matches. Again, it's one of those DVDs where it's good for the documentary portion, but not for the matches. If I was gonna get a Shawn Michaels DVD, I would either get like From the Vault Shawn Michaels or Shawn Michaels My Journey, which I already reviewed. If you look at my channel, it's on the channel. So I believe that Shawn Michaels is my favorite superstar. I want him to come back, and he's not. I know for a fact that he's not coming back. So let him rest at home, because ease up on Shawn. I mean, he's done a lot. He's done a lot for the wrestling business, and no complaints here. Even though he has his flaws, he's still, in my opinion, is the best wrestler in the world today. And yes, Shawn Michaels, 1-on-1, if he was in shape today, will beat Daniel Bryan 1, 2, 3. But Shawn Michaels knows the business, so he basically would put over Daniel Bryan. So, yeah. That's it for this video. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.